Have you ever found yourself in the same argument with the same person over the exact same things, time and time again? It's that moment where a familiar tension builds, a phrase is uttered, and suddenly you're replaying a scene you've lived countless times before. Perhaps it's a subtle withdrawal, a specific tone, or a recurrent disagreement about attention, commitment, or understanding. You find yourself trapped in a loop, asking, why do we always end up here? The exhaustion sets in, a silent weariness that gnaws at your spirit. You've tried different approaches, different words, perhaps even different partners, only to discover the echo of the same conflict resounding in new relationships. This is not merely a communication breakdown, it's a deeper, more intricate dance, one that often feels beyond your conscious control. Many women I speak with, women just like you, thoughtful, introspective, and deeply desirous of authentic connection, express this profound frustration. They feel the sting of not being truly seen, the emptiness of a silence that feels like rejection, or the bewildering sense of losing themselves in the very dynamics they wish to transcend. They crave a partnership rooted in mutual respect and understanding, yet find themselves entangled in webs of expectation and disappointment, watching precious energy drain away in these repetitive battles. The external manifestation of these arguments, the specific words or actions, often distracts us from the true core of the issue. We tend to believe the problem lies out there, in his personality, his inability to understand, or his perceived lack of effort. We focus on fixing the symptoms, rather than diagnosing the root cause. This constant external focus keeps us disempowered, constantly reacting to the outside world, rather than mastering our inner domain. Imagine for a moment that your relationship isn't just two people interacting, but a profound mirror reflecting aspects of your inner world you've yet to fully integrate or master. The conflicts that repeat, the buttons that are pressed, the familiar feelings of frustration or abandonment that surge within you. These are not random occurrences. They are carefully orchestrated lessons, delivered by life itself, designed to bring you into a deeper understanding of your own you, your sovereign self. This perspective, born from the ancient wisdom of Raja Yoga and the profound insights of the Bhagavad Gita, invites you to shift your gaze. Instead of asking, why does he always do this? We begin to ask, why does this specific pattern continue to trigger me? What within my inner landscape is contributing to this recurring drama? The Bhagavad Gita, a timeless spiritual classic, presents a dialogue on a battlefield, but its true message transcends the physical. It's a blueprint for mastering the internal battlefield of the mind, where our deepest attachments, fears, and illusions reside. Krishna, the divine charioteer, doesn't tell Arjuna to change the external circumstances of the war. Instead, he guides Arjuna to understand his own nature, his duty, dharma, and the path to liberation from suffering. Applied to your relationships, this means the key to breaking free from these repetitive arguments isn't found in changing your partner or even in changing your communication style, but in mastering the very mind that perceives and reacts to these external events. It's about recognizing that the same reasons for fighting are often not about the trivial surface issue, but about a deeper, unaddressed wound or an unmastered aspect of your own consciousness. This video is an invitation to explore this profound truth. We will delve into why these patterns persist, how your own mind and its deep-seated conditionings contribute to the cycle, and most importantly, how to wield your will, the sovereign power of your ego, to finally break free. You will learn to see these conflicts not as obstacles to be avoided, but as sacred opportunities for self-mastery and profound emotional sovereignty. It's time to stop fighting the same battles and instead, to learn the secret of the Bhagavad Gita. The real war is always within, and your victory depends on knowing and mastering your own self. Have you ever found yourself caught in the familiar loop, replaying the same argument with the same person, feeling the same sting of misunderstanding? It's a deeply frustrating experience, almost as if an invisible script dictates your interactions. You focus on the words, the actions, the perceived slights, convinced that if only he would change, or if only you could communicate differently, the cycle would break. This is where we often make the invisible error, mistaking the battlefield. We believe the war is external, waged against an uncooperative partner, when in truth, the real conflict unfolds within the landscape of our own minds. This incessant external focus keeps us disempowered, perpetually reacting to the world outside rather than cultivating true mastery within. Consider the pervasive pain of feeling unheard, or the silent exhaustion that comes from perpetually trying to fix a relationship from the outside. You might invest immense energy in analyzing his behavior, seeking validation from friends, or even constructing elaborate strategies to elicit a different response from him. Yet, the same arguments resurface, leaving you with a hollow sense of futility. This is because the problem often lies not in communication techniques or his personality, but in the unseen forces that govern our internal states and consequently, our reactions. The Bhagavad Gita, in its profound wisdom, introduces the concept of the gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, as the fundamental qualities that weave the fabric of reality and, crucially, influence our every thought, emotion, and action. These aren't just abstract philosophical concepts. They are tangible energies at play within us, subtly, orchestrating the dynamics of our relationships, especially our conflicts. When arguments arise, observe the gunas at play. Rajas, the quality of passion and activity, often fuels heated exchanges, the urge to be right, or the aggressive pursuit of a resolution. It manifests as impatience, anger, and a restless desire to control the narrative. Tamas, the quality of inertia and ignorance, can lead to withdrawal, stubborn silence, a reluctance to engage, or a pervasive sense of apathy that suffocates true connection. It's the energy that says, "I give up," or "I don't care," even when deep down you do. Sattva, the quality of purity, balance, and clarity, inclines us towards peaceful resolution, understanding, and open-mindedness. While seemingly desirable, even a sattvic desire for harmony can lead to suppression of genuine feelings or avoidance of necessary confrontation, if not rooted in true self-awareness. When your partner reacts, or when you react, these gunas are at work, creating a predictable dance of energies that often leads back to the same old arguments. The Bhagavad Gita's first lesson, unveiled through Krishna's dialogue with Arjuna, is to know thyself. Arjuna, poised on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, saw his relatives and teachers as external enemies, leading to immense moral paralysis. Krishna did not tell him to change the external circumstances of the war, but to shift his internal perspective, to understand his true nature, his dharma, and his duty beyond personal attachments. Similarly, in your relationship conflicts, you often perceive your partner as the enemy, the source of your frustration. But the wisdom of the Gita reveals that your greatest adversary is not external. It is the projection of your own unmastered mind, driven by the gunas and their fluctuating influence. When you identify with the fleeting emotions fueled by rajas or the lethargy of tamas, rather than with your eternal you perpetuate the cycle of conflict. The repetitive arguments are often karmic echoes, designed to reveal where your consciousness is still entangled in these lower vibratory qualities. Therefore, a practical shift begins with observing the gunas at play within yourself during a conflict. Instead of focusing on what he said or did, pause and ask, is this argument driven by the fiery energy of rajas within me, making me want to assert my dominance or prove my point? Am I succumbing to the heavy inertia of tamas, leading me to shut down, withdraw, or become stubbornly resistant? Or am I attempting to act from sattva, seeking clarity and peace, but perhaps doing so in a way that avoids necessary truth? This profound inquiry shifts your focus from external blame to internal diagnosis. It empowers you to recognize that the energy you bring to the conflict, the guna predominant in your mind, is a significant factor in perpetuating the loop. By observing these internal forces, you begin the sacred work of disidentifying from the ego's reactions and reclaiming the sovereign power of your you. The profound weariness that accompanies repetitive arguments is often rooted in a deep sense of being trapped, as if an invisible thread pulls you back into the same conversational dead ends, the same emotional cul-de-sacs, time and again. It's the frustration of thinking you've resolved an issue, only to see it resurface, perhaps in a slightly different guise, but with the same underlying tension and the same predictable outcome. This relentless cycle is not a random occurrence. It is intimately connected to the concept of karma, not as a punitive cosmic force, but as a precise law of cause and effect, a teacher guiding us towards deeper self-awareness and the integration of unresolved lessons. These repetitive fights are karmic echoes, designed to illuminate unaddressed inner conflicts or ancestral patterns that continue to play out in your present relationships. From the perspective of Raja, yoga, your you, your authentic self, is the unwavering, silent observer, pure consciousness. However, the mind, when unmastered, operates through conditioned patterns, habits, and unresolved imprints. These deep-seated mental tendencies, or samskaras, are like grooves in a record. When a similar stimulus appears, the mind automatically falls back into the familiar track. In relationships, these internal patterns manifest as external, repetitive dynamics. The same reasons for fighting are often not truly about the surface issue, but externalizations of these internal karmic imprints, seeking resolution. For instance, if you carry a deep-seated fear of abandonment from childhood, even a temporary silence from your partner might trigger a disproportionate emotional reaction, drawing you into a familiar fight for attention or reassurance, thus reenacting an old karmic script. The Bhagavad Gita offers a radical solution to breaking free from these karmic loops: the secret of action, without attachment to outcomes. Krishna instructs Arjuna, "You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action." In the context of relationships, this means engaging with integrity and expressing your truth, your dharma, but without clinging to a specific result from your partner. Think of how often arguments escalate because you are deeply attached to the outcome. You need him to apologize, to understand, to change, to validate your feelings in a particular way. This attachment fuels the conflict, as your inner peace becomes contingent on his response, rather than rooted in your own sovereign self. When you release this desperate need for a specific outcome, you liberate yourself from the karmic chain. A 3-step practice for karmic release in your relationships begins with conscious observation. First, step 1, observation. Identify the specific pattern in your repetitive fights. What is the core emotion that consistently arises in you during these conflicts? Is it fear of abandonment, a need for control, a feeling of being unseen, or perhaps a deep frustration with perceived disrespect? Name it. This isn't about blaming, but about recognizing the inner wound that is being repeatedly triggered. Second, step 2, detachment. Before engaging in the argument, or even as it begins to unfold, consciously detach from the desired outcome. Silently affirm, "I will express my truth with clarity and integrity, but I release the need for him to agree, to understand perfectly, or to change his behavior according to my will. My peace does not depend on his reaction." This doesn't mean you don't care. It means you are not bound by his response. You are choosing inner freedom. Third, step 3, recentering. After the interaction, or even mid-argument if you can, consciously return to your you. Ask yourself, did I act from my highest self, from my dharma, or was I swept away by my wounded self, by the old karmic pattern? This conscious choice, repeated consistently, creates a new neural and energetic pathway. By choosing to act from your you, your dharma, rather than from the reactive mind, your unaddressed karma, you begin to dissolve the karmic imprints that have held you captive. This is the profound alchemy of the Bhagavad Gita, transforming every conflict into an opportunity for spiritual liberation. In the throes of a repetitive argument, the illusion of helplessness can feel overwhelmingly real. You might hear yourself say or think, "I try, but it never changes. I'm just swept away by my emotions." This feeling of being at the mercy of your own reactions or of your partner's behavior is a deeply disempowering experience. The escalation of conflicts often happens precisely because we feel ourselves losing control, driven by surges of anger, frustration, or fear. But what if I told you that within you lies a supreme weapon, a force capable of governing your mind and choosing your I response, regardless of the external storm? This weapon is your will, the sovereign power of your you. Raja Yoga teaches that the will is the master of the mind, distinct from fleeting emotions or desires. Your mind, left unchecked, is like a wild horse galloping in all directions, creating vrittis, fluctuations that manifest as restless thoughts, overwhelming emotions, and habitual reactions. During an argument, these vrittis often take over, fueled by fear of abandonment, a desperate need for control, or the raw emotion of anger. Your conditioned mind automatically responds from these lower states, perpetuating the cycle of conflict. But your will is the charioteer, the conscious force that can command the mind to pause, to observe, and most importantly, to choose a higher, more conscious response. It is the power to say, "No, I will not be swayed by this familiar surge of emotion. I will choose my response from a place of inner sovereignty." Consider the archetype of awe. Radha, often depicted in Bhakti Yoga as the epitome of pure, selfless devotion to Krishna. Her love was absolute, but crucially, it never dissolved her individuality or her inner peace. Radha's devotion stemmed from a complete self-realization. She was not dependent on Krishna for her existence or her joy. Her love flowed from her own completeness, from her intrinsic connection to the divine within her own you. Applied to your relationships, this means you can engage with deep care, with profound presence, and even with passionate devotion. But your sense of self, your you, remains untouched by the external storm of conflict. You can choose to argue, if necessary, from a place of clarity and inner peace, not from a place of panic, insecurity, or a desperate need for validation. This conscious engagement, rooted in your own sovereignty, transmutes conflict into an opportunity for spiritual growth, rather than a drain on your vital energy. The practice of conscious disengagement is a powerful technique for wielding your will in the face of conflict. When you feel the familiar trigger for an old fight, that knot in your stomach, that surge of irritation, that immediate defensiveness, pause. This is the critical moment to engage your will. Phase 1. Acknowledge. Simply acknowledge the surge. I acknowledge this surge of anger, fear, frustration, sadness in my body. The key here is to observe it, not to identify with it. You are the observer, not the emotion itself. This creates a crucial space between stimulus and response. Phase 2. Command. Silently but firmly, issue a command from your you to your mind. My will commands this mind to observe, not to react. My will chooses peace. This is an assertion of your true authority over your mental faculties. Phase 3. Recenter. Bring your awareness to your breath or to the quiet space behind your eyes, the seat of your you. From this centered space, choose your response. This might mean choosing silence, a calm and measured statement, a request to revisit the topic later when emotions have settled, or even a deliberate change of subject if appropriate. This is not passive avoidance. It is active, conscious non-action from a place of power. It is using your will to detach from the immediate reactive impulse and to choose a response aligned with your higher self. This consistent practice, moment by moment, will begin to dismantle the old patterns and empower you to meet conflict not with fear or defensiveness, but with the quiet strength of your sovereign you. We have journeyed from the frustrating experience of repetitive arguments to a profound understanding of their true origin and purpose. What initially appears as an external battle, fought over trivial surface issues, is, in fact, an intricate dance reflecting the unmastered aspects of our own inner world. The invisible error we often make is mistaking the battlefield itself, believing the conflict lies with an uncooperative partner, rather than recognizing it as an invitation to engage with the fluctuations of our own minds and the karmic patterns within. The wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita has served as our compass, revealing that the very qualities, gunas, that shape our reality also dictate our reactive responses in conflict. By learning to observe these gunas within ourselves, we begin the sacred work of disidentifying from the ego's automated reactions. Furthermore, we explored how the repetitive nature of these arguments is often a manifestation of karma, not as punishment, but as a series of lessons seeking resolution. These cycles echo unaddressed inner wounds or ancestral imprints, replaying themselves until we consciously choose a new path. The Gita's profound teaching on acting without attachment to outcomes offers a radical key to breaking these chains. By performing our dharma, acting from integrity and truth, without clinging desperately to a specific reaction or resolution from our partner, we liberate ourselves from the karmic loop. This isn't about indifference. It's about anchoring your peace in your own sovereign you, rather than making it contingent on external validation or change. This shift transforms your entire approach to conflict, from a desperate scramble for control to a conscious act of self-mastery. Most powerfully, we have embraced the Raja Yoga principle of the will as your supreme weapon. In moments of intense conflict, when emotions threaten to overwhelm, your will is the discerning master capable of commanding the unruly mind. It is the power to pause, observe, and consciously choose a response aligned with your highest self, rather than being swept away by old reactive patterns. The archetype of Radha's devotion, unwavering yet unbound, serves as a beacon. You can love deeply, engage fully, and care intensely, yet remain centered in your own you, unperturbed by the external storm. This conscious disengagement from reactive patterns, fueled by your unwavering will, is the ultimate act of emotional sovereignty. The true secret of the Bhagavad Gita, when applied to your relationships, is this: the biggest battles are always internal. The external conflicts are merely reflections, opportunities for you to gain mastery over your own mind, to understand your true nature, and to align with your deepest dharma. True emotional sovereignty means that your inner peace, your sense of worth, and your emotional stability are not dictated by external circumstances, including your partner's reactions or the dynamics of your arguments. It means you are the unshakable center of your own universe, capable of observing the fluctuations of your mind and choosing your response from a place of conscious power. This journey is not about eliminating conflict entirely, for conflict is an inherent part of human interaction and a powerful catalyst for growth. Instead, it is about transforming the nature of your conflict. When you approach an argument from a place of self-mastery, understanding that the greatest battle is within, you stop fighting the same old fights. You begin to dismantle the very foundations of the repetitive cycle, not by trying to change him, but by transforming yourself. And as you change, as you become more centered, more sovereign, and more aligned with your true you, the external dynamics of your relationships are compelled to reflect that profound inner shift. What if the very reason you keep fighting over the same things is the universe's persistent invitation for you to finally claim your emotional sovereignty and become the master of your own inner realm? The path to emotional sovereignty, particularly in the intricate dance of relationships, is not always an easy one. It demands profound introspection, unwavering courage, and a willingness to look beyond the surface of what appears to be. It is a path less traveled by those seeking quick fixes or superficial tips. This journey is for the woman who has felt the deep ache of repetition, who has questioned the very nature of her own attachments, and who yearns for a truth that transcends the fleeting advice of pop psychology. You are seeking not just solutions, but liberation, a true liberation of the spirit from the chains of emotional dependence and the illusion of external control. Understanding the gunas, recognizing karmic patterns, and consciously wielding your will are not merely intellectual exercises. They are profound, spiritual practices that require consistent effort and compassionate self-observation. Your mind, accustomed to its old habits and its comfortable illusions, may protest. It will try to pull you back into blaming, into victimhood, or into the seductive allure of external solutions. But the voice of your you, the quiet wisdom within, knows a deeper truth. It knows that your power resides in your ability to observe, to choose, and to align with your sovereign self. True intimacy begins with self-intimacy. When you cultivate a profound connection with your you, when you become the unshakable center of your own universe, your relationships transform from a desperate need into a conscious choice. You no longer seek to complete yourself through another, but instead you seek to share the wholeness you have discovered within. This is the essence of true love, as understood through the lenses of Raja Yoga and Bhakti, a love that is free, unburdened by attachment, and rooted in the unwavering strength of your own spiritual identity. Allow your journey through repetitive conflicts to become your greatest teacher, guiding you not to a perfect relationship, but to your own perfect and sovereign self. This work is not just about relationships. It is about your liberation. If this message has resonated with the deepest stirrings of your soul, if you recognize the echoes of these patterns in your own life and feel a powerful call towards true emotional sovereignty, then I invite you to join this journey. This channel is dedicated to guiding you through the profound wisdom of Raja Yoga and Vedic philosophy, offering practical tools to master your mind and reclaim your inner power. To continue receiving insights that transcend superficial relationship advice and delve into the spiritual roots of connection, please subscribe to this channel. Liking this video helps to spread this message to other women who are also seeking deeper truths and lasting transformation. Share your reflections in the comments below. Have you recognized any of these repetitive patterns in your own relationships? How has the concept of your you, or the Bhagavad Gita's wisdom, begun to shift your perspective? Your insights are invaluable and contribute to this conscious community. Explore the other videos on this channel, where we delve further into topics such as understanding attachment, transforming anxiety into attraction, and cultivating an unshakable sense of self-worth. Each video is a step towards unlocking your inherent power and living a life rooted in conscious choice, not unconscious reaction. Remember, your journey to emotional sovereignty is the most profound relationship you will ever cultivate. Step into your power.